If you've been feeling a little invisible on TPT, kind of like you're just putting products out there and they're just floating around in space and no one's purchasing, no one's finding them, then this video is for you. We're going to talk about how to make your first sale on TPT. Or if it's been a while since you've made your first sale and you're ready to make another one, we're going to be talking about how to make your next sale on TPT. Now, before we get started talking about how to make your next sale on TPT, I want you to make sure that you go ahead and like this video and subscribe, because by the time we finish, you're going to be so excited about getting this implemented in your business that you are going to forget to do it. And weeks from now, you're going to be like, hey, wait a second, I wanted to refer back to that video, or I want to go catch some more from her, because it's going to work. And you're going to want to know where to find me. So make sure you have liked this video and you are subscribed to this channel, because I put out weekly content to help you grow the TPT business of your dreams. So I've been selling on TPT for over 9 years now. I consistently help teachers, pay teachers, sellers scale their businesses to their first $500 a month, all the way to $5,000 a month and beyond, inside of a couple of memberships that I have. But today we are focusing specifically on how to get your first sale on TPT, or how to get your next sale if it's been a while. So when you get to that point where you're starting to feel invisible, where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, like I'm putting products out there, but it seems like nobody is finding them, that's when we really need to get strategic. And in fact, I would argue that you should do this at the very beginning. But most of us, when we first start, we don't know how to be strategic. We're just trying to put out a decent product and trying to keep our head above water. So let's talk about how to get strategic so that we are sure that we are creating something that buyers want to purchase, because we ultimately want them to make a purchase for us. So I'm going to do a little bit of research, and I'm actually going to go seasonal. If I'm looking to make my first sale on TPT and I'm in a hurry, one of the things that I recommend is trying this technique with a seasonal resource, because I think it's a little bit easier and you can kind of get some practice in with those seasonal items. So I have these emoji math activities, and I have several different resources that I've created, and I've created Halloween versions of those resources. You can see it's September 27th. I'm going to upload all of these to TPT, but I kind of want to know, like, I'm getting ready to go on maternity leave. Should I create any other Halloween versions of this? Is it going to be worth it? I created these for an event that's going to be off of TPT. So I'm just uploading them to TPT because I have the product, but I want to know, like, is it going to be worth creating another one of these? Because they're pretty easy to make, and I can make them pretty quickly. I'm just going to use what I have right here to see, will any of these get any traction? Like, number one, is there demand for this topic during Halloween? And number two, is there a place for me on the first page with a resource that's brand new, that has no reviews and has no sales? Okay, because these are going to be brand new resources. So I'm going to start with the very first one. I'm going to say subtraction within 1,000 Halloween. And I'm going to just start with Halloween and just see where that lands me. And I see, like, the very first search result, it has like 0 reviews, which you might think, like, initially is like, oh goody, like I could land on the first page. But the fact that there's like 0 reviews tells me there's like not very many people purchasing this. This is not going to be great. So let's say subtraction, 3rd grade. And there we get a lot more traction. I've got 718 reviews, which tells me that people are purchasing that, because you have to purchase in order to make a review. So a lot of people are purchasing. 17, so a steep drop off. 44, 17, 0, 0, 5, 1, 0, 0. So this tells me that there is a really good chance. So I'm going to mark this one. If I were trying to decide whether or not to create this product, that would be green. Like, create that product, and I'm going to put in the margin over here, keywords to target, which, by the way, this is how I outline when, like, the order things are done in. So I like create all of the resources at once. So I create the PowerPoint. I then send it off to my VA, but you could do this yourself. You could batch, then turning them into PDFs, batch create the cover and previews, batch converting. So I created an evergreen version of the product, and then I created a second version that was fall or Halloween. So like batch converting them and then batch upload to TPT. So you could create something very similar to this. So the keywords that I'm going to be targeting, because I'm going to forget by the time it comes to upload, are subtraction, 3rd grade Halloween, or some version of that. So I could kind of play around with this, and I could say 3rd grade subtraction Halloween. and I might get a little bit different search results for that, but it looks like I'm still seeing 0 reviews, more zeros. So it still looks like there would be a place in the market for me, like targeting third grade subtraction. I could also do subtraction, Halloween, or Halloween subtraction activity, third grade. I get a little bit of different search results, but for sure, like I still get this, right? I'm going to lead with subtraction because it seems like there was more, and then Halloween towards the end, it seemed like there was a little bit more demand for that. It seemed like there were more resources that were selling for that. Okay, so, but that's a green light. So that would be one where I would say, okay, people are purchasing this, they're looking for it, they're buying it, and there's a spot on the first page of search results for me. So that would be a green light to go ahead and create that activity. Now let's try division with whole numbers. Division activity, fourth grade Halloween. So I see 9, 9, and then 0, 0. So I'm not seeing, I see another one that's 31. So this isn't seeming too promising to me. Like, yes, I could probably land on the first page, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of traction for that. So I'm going to try division with whole numbers, Halloween. Ooh, 1 review, 44 reviews. Let's try Halloween division activity. See where that lands me. 346, that seems a little closer. 44, 254. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down, and do I see any zeros? Because I want to see a 0 because that would let me know that I could potentially land on the first page. I don't see any zeros for that. But because there's more traction for that, I could try fourth grade, just tacking that on at the end. And there's a spot for me there. And let's try just third grade. And that's not nearly as popular, but we would go with fourth grade. So we would probably target fourth grade, and we'd say Halloween division activity, fourth grade. So I would say that that one is maybe like a yellow light, like this is okay. Like we could do that. Halloween division activity, fourth grade. But, oh, actually that's fifth grade. Let's go back. Bet there's more for fifth grade. Nope, not great. Not great, but there's still a spot for me. So we could do fifth grade. Okay, fifth grade. Now I could do percent, and I could go down the list, and I could choose different topics. So obviously if I had a tight niche, which most people are going to have starting off, you're going to have like third, fourth grade, or fifth grade and sixth grade. In my case, I've been doing this for a really long time. So I have a really broad audience from like third grade all the way to calculus, even though I don't really make a lot of that far up resources. I kind of usually go to algebra 2 and a few geometry, but that's about it. But I have a pretty broad niche. So I like to create something for each one. So I could go in and I could say like multiplication facts. What if I did a multiplication facts activity? Halloween multiplication facts. Just take the rest of these off. 523, 436. So I'm seeing a lot of resources with a high number of reviews, which means that they're really popular, which is good. That tells me that buyers are looking for them and they're making purchases. When I scroll all the way down to the bottom, the lowest number of reviews that I see is 9 reviews, and my resource would have 0. So not a big chance of me landing on the first page unless I add on third grade. And if I add on third grade, like a grade level to this, then there's a spot in the market for me. I could do multiplication facts, like third grade multiplication facts for Halloween, anything like that, that might work. So like multiplication facts. And then let me see what I typed in. Halloween multiplication facts, third grade. And I can also check to see what happens if I put in fourth grade. Could I rank for that too? Because I could do something like third, fourth grade. And it looks like there's just not nearly as much traction for that. So I could put fourth grade on there, but I would probably show up, but it's probably not a lot of people are going to be searching for that. So this tells me between these two, like these are 2 really good options. Now I could continue with this and I could find probably some that are not good options, but these 2 are good options for me. I could do either one of these, and I know which keywords to target. So now I've got a Halloween resource. I've got a resource that's about to be season specific. And the reason that I've chosen this seasonal resource is because it's going to give me some opportunity to get like an influx in views. It's a little bit less competitive, like I said earlier, and I can probably create a couple of different topics for these. So I can create like one template and I can choose a couple of different topics. So those are both green-lighted topics. I would create both of those potentially and put them both up on the market. If I only had time to do 2 resources or even had time to do one, I would just choose one of those and do the one. If I have time to do 2, I'm going to do both. Or if I have time to do more, I might do more, but I'm just going to stick with the green ones. If I'm short on time, especially like I'm not going to just create a random like addition. I'm not going to just create rounding or place value. Like I'm not just going to create and choose a random topic. I'm going to go do the research ahead of time to make sure there's a place in the market for me with that resource before I create it. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look. I'm going to go back to what was showing up in those green searches. I see the covers look Halloween-ish. Like this one has spiders. It has the little witch's cauldron on there. This one has little monsters. This is a ghost activity and I can see the ghost. These are coloring activities and I can see the characters. So I can see the Halloween theme on the cover. Now, this particular one, I can't see the Halloween theme on the cover, but they've kind of picked some Halloween-ish colors. But across the board in general, the resources that are selling, you can clearly see that it's a Halloween resource. And then I can take a look at what's ranking but doesn't appear to be selling as well. And I can take a look at those things and I can maybe draw some conclusions based on those things. Do they look outdated? Are the covers not square? Like what in particular is causing people to maybe kind of like scroll over them? Maybe it's the color choices where yes, they look Halloweenish, but across the board, I'm kind of seeing like green, purple, orange, like even across different sellers. These greens, purples, oranges, kind of having that mixture, that seems to be attracting buyers, attracting customers, and kind of drawing their eye in. So that can be something that I keep in mind when I go to create the cover, is that I want to include some Halloween clip art. I want to make sure that it looks Halloween-ish and that I'm using Halloween colors and that I'm using playful and bright colors as well. So making sure that I'm incorporating those things. So I'll show you my traditional covers for this particular resource that I'm thinking of creating. The traditional covers look like this. So when I go to create mine, this is obviously for an older grade level. When I go to create it for a younger grade level, I might want to keep that in mind. And I might want to choose maybe a different color other than yellow, something that maybe instead of having this emoji math, having this little emoji face on here with just the little round face with the tongue sticking out, maybe change it to the ghost. And then it's obviously going to have other clip art on here because it'll be Halloween themed, but maybe kind of exaggerating the clip art a little bit more and even using the word Halloween, because I was seeing that on a lot of these where some of these even have just like the word Halloween on there, and kind of rethinking through my color scheme a little bit more. So even if that's just taking this yellow rim around and turning it to that green that buyers seem to be attracted to, maybe using that purple and then using some orange down here, kind of playing around with the colors to get to play into what buyers are clearly attracted to. Now, before I completely go all in with that, I'm going to go ahead and choose the second set of keywords that I had already targeted before, so like the subtraction, and I'm going to try to make sure that I'm seeing something consistent with that across the board. And I'm still seeing for sure some oranges, some Halloween colors, a little bit of purple, some green. So I'm still seeing those same types of colors. Things are looking a little bit different for this different set of search results, but I'm still seeing the same kind of colors pop up, and I'm still seeing Halloween characters show up on the covers to make it look like extra Halloween-y. And so I might really want to think about that when I'm creating my covers to really play into that, especially for those younger grades. Now, once I get these listed, I am then going to, if I have any kind of an audience, whether that's social media, even a personal social media or something of the sort, I'm going to post to that. And there is no shame in posting a resource that you're proud of and putting it on your personal Facebook page, putting it on your personal Instagram. You never know when another mom who has a child at the grade level that you teach might want some extra practice for their kid, or when another teacher who teaches in your district or a teacher friend that you know may say, oh, I could really use that in my classroom, and go ahead and make a purchase from you. Just making that first initial sale can not only help you, and like that's a win because you've made a sale, but it can also help tell the search engine algorithm, hey, people like this product. People are willing to purchase this product. They're willing to spend money on this product. And so sharing with the audience that you have, even if it's your personal audience, this is a really great way to kind of help people find out about you. I know I will purchase from friends if I know a friend has put something up on TPT and it's something that I could potentially use. I don't make like pity purchases or anything like that. Like I'm not just buy just to buy. But if I know like, hey, I could use that resource, or it's a preschool resource, or it's something I could use with my own kids, then I will go ahead and make that purchase to support them, but also because I feel like it's really cool. Like I can tell them like, hey, Miss so-and-so made this, or, you know, so-and-so's mom, your friend's mom made this resource. And I get a lot of enjoyment out of purchasing from my friends, and your friends and your teacher friends and mom friends can too. And people can just be really proud and supportive. And nobody is going to think it's weird, I promise. Once you've created these listings, you're going to share to whatever audience that you have. And you're going to make sure that you take those same keywords that you put in your title and you're going to put them down in your snippet. Now, let me show you where your snippet is. Your snippet is this first few lines where it says, unlock the fun in Algebra 1 math with this innovative factoring trinomials activity. Any word, any keyword that you choose to put in your title right here, you're going to want to make sure that you add it into your snippet right here. Okay, that's going to help buyers find you. It's going to help you be more search engine optimized. And you're going to want to make sure that you've created a preview that accurately showcases your product, that tells all of the value that your product has to offer, that showcases all the value that your product has to offer, and explains how your product works and the benefits for using your resource. So like no prep, self-checking, things like that. All of that is really good. If you can tag your standards, you want to absolutely make sure you tag standards and make sure you tag appropriate grade levels. So I don't want to just choose random grade levels. I want to make sure that I'm creating for a specific grade level, creating to meet specific standards, and I'm listing only for those grade levels. So this in particular actually is not correct. I would actually list this for 9th and 11th grade, which would be Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. Even though like technically you can do Algebra 1 in 8th grade, I would not list for 8th grade because it's an Algebra 1 and an Algebra 2 skill. But one of my assistants who uploads these resources for me, a lot of times she will just make her best guesswork, and then I come in after her and I kind of tweak and change things after she's already uploaded. So this is one of those things that I would kind of change because it's not designed for 8th grade math. It is designed for Algebra 1. So in general, what I would recommend for core subjects that where you can tag a standard is to only tag grade levels that correspond with standards that you can tag. What this is going to do is it's going to signal to the customer, if you're targeting a 3rd grade math teacher or you're targeting a 3rd grade reading teacher, that the resource is truly specifically created for their 3rd grade students, not for a 4th grade student or a 5th grade student. And so if I see 3rd, 4th, and 5th on a resource as a teacher, I could think like, oh, maybe it's going to be a little bit too difficult for my 3rd grade students. I might be looking at the preview like extra closely to make sure that it really would align with what I'm teaching. And so I just don't want this like in an effort, I think a lot of times in an effort to widen their net and to cast a broader net with a resource, new sellers and even some experienced sellers will kind of overcast that net, and then they end up with a lot of people who come to look at their product who won't make a purchase, and then that kind of lowers their conversion rate, which could lower their search engine ranking, and then ultimately it doesn't give them the desired outcome that they want, which is just more purchases and more visibility on TPT. And so the way that you're going to get the most purchases, the most visibility on TPT is by choosing the grade level and standards that are appropriate for your resource. And then once we've done all of this, this is just going to help sell the product that we know should be getting views. So we know it should get views. We know it should be able to rank on the first page of search results. Then that's when I'm working towards crafting a preview and a product description that is going to help pull that sale in, help reel that buyer in. So this would be my strategy for making my first or next TPT sale, would be to create a seasonal resource using data. So really taking a look at the market, researching what's on the market, and letting the market speak to me and tell me where I can fit in and what type of resource that I should create, and then how to market it by creating a cover that the market is going to respond to, or that the market has historically responded to. So this would be my very simple strategy for getting that next sale. Now, this is probably going to air after Halloween. So this is talking about a Halloween resource, but you could do this with Christmas. You could do this with New Year's. You could do this with Valentine's Day. Whatever your next holiday is, that's what you're going to do this with. And you can do this over and over again. And then once that holiday is over, you're going to take a look at your data and see, what were my conversion rates? How did I do? Did this strategy work well? If so, how can I replicate the success for the next holiday? Or how can I replicate the success with an evergreen resource? If you want to make more than just one sale and you want to work your way towards your first $100 on TPT, I have a free PDF guide down in the description. It's a guide plus workbook that's going to help you get your first $100 in sales on TPT, because I want you to be making money as quickly as you possibly can. You can find that free guide down inside the description. If you've already made $100, why not make 100 more? Go grab that guide right now. It's absolutely free and you don't want to miss it. If you found this video to be helpful, or you want to try this strategy in your store, leave a comment down below and let me know. I can't wait to hear how this works for you. And I'm so excited for you to get that first or next sale on TPT. As always, make sure you have liked this video and you've subscribed to this channel. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to see you right back here in the next video.